I'm Erin.
Christine,
I'm
how are
VP
you?
for Hawkins. Nice to meet you.
Yes, I'm the VP for Discount. It's nice to meet you today.
Nice to meet you too.
All right.
So far, we've gotten a lot of progress on our agreements, and then today we kind of reached a standstill on this Article 22 provision.
Yes, apparently you guys were very happy with everything else in the lease up to Article 22.
Yeah. So, my first question, and something that was never really discussed, is why do y'all want to keep it like it is? Because we never received a real, reasoning behind that. So we were just wanting to know.
The biggest reason why we decided to use this lease and why Article 22 is a part of it is that this is just our standard lease.
Okay.
This is what we use for every transaction that we have like this.
This is standard practice for you guys?
Yeah, this is just absolutely standard, and so we include it in everything as a way to try to protect the parties, both you and us.
Right.
And so there's no particular reason why we decided to have it in there. It's just part of it.
Has this worked well in other developments that you guys have gone into?
Oh, yeah.
This way and everything?
I mean, we've always been relatively productive and had a good success rate using it.
I mean, 200 locations. I mean, obviously, you guys are really successful. And
yeah, I mean, we've got 200 of these across the country, and we have yet to have any issues with it.
Okay.
Is
there companies that y'all have in mind that you would want to bring in under that provision to sublease?
We haven't really looked specifically into like what businesses, like specific names of businesses that we would want to put in there, but I think if we can come up with an idea as far as like how we can do the subletting and what would make you guys happy for that, then I think I can take that back to them and they can say then these are what businesses are going to fit best in here or what will work best. Well, and so we know that.
Yeah. Well, obviously we want you guys in this new development. I mean, you guys are really popular. You're a great company. Our issue is lack of say-so in who you bring in. So we want you guys to be able to do that. We want you guys to have that flexibility. We don't want you to feel like you're so constrained that, So.
And we obviously want to have some flexibility.
So if we could have certain criteria that we could look at before you bring someone in, it's not just like one of those things where the developer comes check on things and there's someone there and we're like, we have no idea who this is, what is that reputation, what kind of revenue stream they're going to bring in, everything like that. So we don't want to, we don't want to put you guys, paint you to a corner and say, it's this way or no way.
Right.
So we want some kind of prior approval policy, some kind of revision saying, you give us this X company and you show us numbers saying, hey, they've been around for this long, this is what they bring in revenue-wise.
Okay.
Just so we know there's some stability there. We all have other companies, satellite companies that want to come in.
I saw that on the...
and they heard that you're coming in. So they're like, oh my gosh, yes, this is a great opportunity to do this. So we want to keep all parties interested and everybody happy.
Right.
So...
And you've got quite a lot of spots for anchors, which is... And for satellites. I mean, you've got a good...
it's a big development.
It is.
And so we want this to be successful, and it can't be successful if we can't all work together. So
being that you guys are new, I think it's I don't think it's a bad practice or bad idea that you guys want to have some control. And we don't want to take all of control from you.
Right.
Part of our goal in all of this is to have a good relationship with you guys and help you build your company so that we can have future relationships and other contracts that we sign together.
And I'm not sure what's happened in prior negotiations where it's come to this point. Because,
I don't either.
Unless it was just an attitude issue or what have you, I just want this to be a cooperative thing.
Of course.
I don't want to walk away with this being, well, bye, and, walk out the door.
We don't want that either.
So, if we can find some way to tweak this a little that y'all are okay with, and that will give us some kind of control for who comes in, then that would be ideal on our side.
Okay. Well, would you be open to doing some brainstorming with me?
Yeah, let's do that.
Try to figure out maybe what our, mutual goals in this are? Okay. Yeah. All right, let's see. So, I'll put you guys on this side. I'm just going to abbreviate because that's just easier. things, well, you said you were looking for flexibility, right?
Yeah.
You wanted to be flexible, and
Right.
you wanted to have a say-so.
Right.
I'm just gonna put say-so. We also want to have our ability to put our input into it,
Right.
and one of our sub goals out of all of this is to have that relationship.
Right.
So I think a long-term relationship,
Right,
is important to us. What are some other things that are important to you guys?
we talked about as far as like having say so, like prior approval is an idea, and then we had talked about possibly doing like a trial run. So if you wanted to sublease to a company and you weren't positive on how that was going to go,
Okay.
and we do like 30 to 60 days where we see how they do operations, and if you're saying this was a bad idea, this isn't going to work, then we can kick them out without having them sign anything. So
Okay.
having contract issues.
So some kind of trial
Yeah.
period, maybe.
Right.
We were thinking some kind of like a modified contingency agreement, if
Okay.
you will. So maybe after a certain period of time,
Right.
we give up some of the percentage of what we own and
Okay.
then do some subletting. So
Okay.
maybe in the first couple of years, until the mall's turning profits,
Uh-huh.
we keep 100% of the anchor.
Right.
And then maybe after a couple of years or so, we can relinquish some of that and then sublet it out. And then
Okay.
maybe
Bring that
some
in, something
bring
like
some of
that
this in there.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm just gonna write contingency.
Yeah. 'Cause this would be more pertinent now if this was an existing development
Yes.
to bring in right now. So that makes sense.
Well, because really, if we think about it, if the mall doesn't do well and the mall
Right.
doesn't profit, we both lose.
Yeah, because all our satellites are going to move out anyway.
They're
Yeah.
gonna move out. We're gonna go
Mhm.
under
Yeah.
in that particular
Right.
location.
It's not a viable option for either party. at that
Right.
point.
So we want the mall to do well,
Right.
and after it's doing well, our name's already on the mall. And so
Right.
once it's doing well, it doesn't really matter what percentage of the mall we're
Right.
occupying.
Right.
And so maybe we back off a little bit and
Mhm.
let other stores come in and get their business going.
I see what you're saying.
Sweet. I think the main goal here
Mhm.
to keep this business or to make the mall profitable is that it should be full,
Yeah.
right? When you first open the mall, you want every inch of that place full.
Right.
You want stores everywhere.
Right.
And if that means we have 100% of that anchor in the
Mhm.
beginning to fill that void space,
Right.
to make it look really good,
Mhm.
then we do that.
Right.
After 5, 6, 7 years, when the business is doing well and the mall's flourishing,
Mhm.
we back off.
Yeah.
So I think maybe if we do something contingent and give you the flexibility to approve those people
Mhm.
before they come in and take over whatever that space is,
Right.
I think those kind of line up kind of these
Yeah.
sort of together.
Oh yeah. I think that's a realistic idea.
I think we have the same core interests.
Yeah, we do. And I mean, you already have, the satellite companies already have like a good relationship with you guys because they like you.
Yeah.
So that's not gonna be a
We're
problem.
we're pretty highly sought after, I
Yeah.
think, because we've done so well. But we've been in business a lot longer, so
So you have that reputation that you've had time to build and
right. And I think if
everything.
just having our name on the mall and
Mhm.
people seeing that we're there
Yeah.
will bring in people just strictly for that.
Right.
Excuse me.
Okay.
So,
So,
based off of that, what are some specific ideas you had about the article? Or actually, let me back up.
okay.
What is it about Article 22 that really gives you guys heartburn? Like, is there a specific language you don't like? Is it an entire subpart of it that they don't want?
I think it's just the fact that you guys, the way it's laid out is, well, we can sublease to whoever.
Okay.
So it's really broad. It gives a lot of broad power to one side. There's nothing in
Okay.
there that really says provided approval of the lessor or whatever, something
Okay.
like that.
So basically, the fact that we can transfer all of our possession or part, we can do whatever we want
Yeah.
to somebody else,
Yeah.
and you guys have absolutely no
We have
right.
no control. Control is the biggest issue we see that's not in there.
Okay.
And I think that's what's caused us to be at this point with our
Okay.
negotiation is we want some power, and I guess prior negotiations have been no, we want to keep it as it is. So,
Okay.
I mean,
Okay. Well, I did a little bit of research and tried to find out what the average time it would take for a mall like this to start turning a profit. Because to come up with some kind of contingency to change these and maybe make it a little bit different, I think it was kind of important to know maybe when this mall is going to make a profit, and it's really hard to tell.
It is. I mean, the market's so up and down, and there's no way to predict exactly.
Right, and we don't have all of the information, and so we know that the location of the mall is really good.
Yeah.
And that's a big factor in the accessibility of a mall. Right. But the sales, the items you're selling, how well they sell, what costs, what costs are going into the mall, all play a factor.
Right.
And so the rough estimate that I came up with was somewhere between 5 and 10 years. Okay. The mall is probably going to be flourishing. Mm-hmm. And so really anywhere within that time frame, I feel comfortable saying, oh, we're okay backing off maybe a little bit, and then coming up with an addendum to this that says we're going to occupy it all. We won't sublet it. We won't assign it at all in the first 5 years.
Okay.
And then after that, we can sit down again, and we'll write it in here that says after that period of time, the option to sublet or to assign it out is available, contingent on their approval.
Right.
And we'll sit down, have a meeting, and say, look, here's the research. We want X, Y, and Z to come in because they're really good.
Right.
They sell similar items. They've got good reputations. We'll still stick around and be part of it, but we're going to let them have maybe 20% of the anchor location. Okay. And then present that information like what you asked for before, and maybe give your company an opportunity to say yay, nay, or let's give them an opportunity, and if they totally sink the ship, then they're out.
So have like benchmark negotiations.
I guess that's a better way of putting it. So like almost like a step. Like for the first 5 years, we will agree not to sublet.
Okay.
And we'll just be there.
Okay.
And help.
Of course. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And help the business and help the mall do really well. And then after those 5 years or 6, whatever makes you comfortable, somewhere in there.
5.
Okay.
5 is good.
Because like I said, it's hard to tell. And we can always say, look, we'll stick around for at least 5 years. And if we feel like we're getting close to that 5 years and it's not as successful as we both would like, maybe we stick around another year. I mean,
we can keep pushing it back till
we start seeing some cap it at 7 years or something like that, and just say we're willing to put in extra work. If after that 5-year period we're like, we should stick around longer. I think that our company would be okay with that.
Okay.
We also discussed in our company possibly asking you guys, since we're changing some of this up, to ask you guys not to put any like major competitors of ours in that 5-year period.
Yeah, and that's a concern that some of our satellite companies had too. So we don't want someone. That was the issue they had about that provision is well, what they bring in someone who is another, use Best Buy.
Yeah.
Use our Best Buy. I mean, they're marking down their sales. I mean, that's,
So and we don't want that either. And so we don't want to conflict with the satellite stores.
Right.
And we don't want to have another, department store, so to speak, that's going to compete. And so we don't sell, groceries. So if you wanted to put in, a discount grocery store on the other end of the mall, like we're all game. But if you're going to put in a Walmart on that other end, we're not going to be able to agree to that because that's going to completely conflict with what we're doing.
Well, and also affects, consumer-wise. Because, if they come in, they say, why they have 2 of the same stores in here, and they're going to go to one just by habit, not go to the other one. I'll lose that one. So, I mean, it's just not.
And then you're back to square one because you have empty space, and then that looks bad on the mall because there's nothing worse than having a mall open. I mean, like, why is half the mall empty? That doesn't look good on anybody either. And so, I definitely think it's important in the front end of this to fill that mall to the max. And so, we're willing to take over all that space, obviously, in the beginning.
Okay, so we will agree.
And then maybe after those 5 years, we decide maybe we're just not going to sell, car parts or something. And we sublet out to a car shop that decides to come in and bring their, maybe Goodyear wants to come on in and they've got a good reputation and they want to come in and take over that section of the property where we were previously doing that.
Right.
Something to that effect.
Yeah, something that still keeps a balance.
Yeah, so we'll just give them a percentage and say we own 100% first 5-6 years, and then they take 20 or 15 or, and that we can leave that sort of broad and say,
right.
You know, after these 5 years, we agree to allow discount to sublet a portion, let's say 50%, to other businesses pursuant to our agreement, or pursuant to a meeting of which we agree to the terms of what those businesses are and what they're willing to put in. And then bring everybody on board, bring those businesses in, see what they're all about.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I think we would be happy with that.
Yeah, I don't see an issue. Because that was our only, this is the only issue we had was that.
Right.
One thing.
Was something else I was curious about. What are some of the goals that you guys want for the not just the mall, but the structure itself in the long term? Do you want to expand it at all, or is this going to be the structure as it is, or do you have any big future?
We want to expand, but all of that is, you know, as you said, contingent on how this thing does. Because, I mean, yes, it's the prime location. Yes, it's a new development, discount mall, which is great for this economy because people are looking to save money.
Yeah, and you're close to a highway, so.
Right. So you're right by, like, hop off the exit.
Oh, yeah.
Go.
I mean, you slap our name on one of those big signs they put next to the highway.
And that's what people pay attention to.
Yeah.
You know,
convenience. Everyone's about convenience.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, eventually we don't want to get so big that we lose our relationship with the people that we have in there. Because if you get bigger, the ability to avoiding competitors gets harder because, I mean, there are only so many different stores out there. So, we want to be profitable, but we don't want to, like I said, get so big that all of this kind of goes to pot.
Right.
And we start having problems.
And, I mean, we're all about keeping that, like, mom and pop relationship feel.
Yeah.
But while still being
we don't want to get so corporate where it's, you guys have an issue and
we don't want to be Walmart.
Like,
we don't want to be
God,
like that.
who do I talk to? I mean,
yeah.
You know, so, right. Walmart.
We don't want to be Walmart, but we want to maintain the modern prices, yes, and have good reputation, but we don't want to
stoop. Class actions.
Yeah, we don't want to get too crazy with it.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the agreement as we have it is good. So first 5 years, y'all won't sublet.
Yes.
We'll cap this at 7.
Okay.
If that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
We'll do like 5 years will be the benchmark.
Okay.
No more than 7. And then at that point, we'll start addressing contingencies on now that you guys can sublet.
Right.
What power do we have as far as we want a pre-approval? So at that point, we might say we'll either do a trial run or you guys bring us a list and numbers saying here's a revenue stream, here's reputation, they've established, they've been around a while, or even if it's a brand new company, we can even do a trial run if they're brand new. You're not sure what they're going to do. We're not sure what they're going to do.
So why don't we put it in there as an or? We say 5 years. We'll take 100% of it, obviously. After that 5-year mark, we'll sit down and we can all have a meeting and look at the future of the business and the mall and decide whether or not we need to stick around.
Okay.
And if we decide we don't, and you guys are happy with where things are going, then we'll give you, a list of people we're looking at. And you guys can either decide we like them, we like what they're about, they're reputable, we'll let them in, or we don't feel 100% comfortable, let's do a trial run.
Okay.
Kind of one or the other type of deals. Just because it might be hard for us to bring in more people if we say, hey, we really like you, but we don't trust you.
Right, yeah.
But if it's somebody you really feel comfortable with, they don't have to do a trial run. But if you're kind of like you said, they're new, you want to, let them try it out, then maybe do a trial run.
Okay.
And we can agree to those specifics with that business when we get there.
Okay.
But that gives you guys some control. What about the assignment portion of this? Because, we didn't really address it a whole lot.
Right.
Do you want the same terms as far as the subletting to go to the assignment? The only real difference is the liability, I think, between the two.
I mean, I think we want to keep this pretty consistent across the board, so we want the same terms to go.
Okay. Then why don't we just add a separate clause at the bottom that, you know, we can take out the all language and the parts where you have no rights and add at the bottom the things that we've kind of come up with today regarding the time periods.
Okay.
So we'll strike like all, no rights. And then we can just leave the language that's there because it's already written.
Right.
Just take out the parts that don't give you any control, really.
Right.
And then adding a separate clause at the bottom. Okay. Just to keep for legibility, really. I'm actually much happier with this, and I'm wondering why they couldn't agree to this.
I mean...
They must have just been tired, long day maybe, and nobody could...
It may be pressure from the developer, because I mean, you know, we have to have money to build, and without money comes contingencies on our part. So,
yeah.
And part of it's just personality. Sometimes people just aren't able to talk to someone else like this without, you know. So,
without bringing emotions into it.
Right. So I'm really happy with this.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
do you want to have your guys' company kind of write something up and then
we'll
send
write
it over?
a settlement agreement.
Okay.
And make sure that it reflects exactly what we talked about today. Nothing's janky.
Yeah.
And I'll send that over to you and have you sign off, and then we'll proceed with this.
Fabulous.
All right. Well,
awesome.
So nice to meet you.
You too. Thank you.